successful and highly sought-after investment banker working for a large firm based in Portland.
Well, that's disturbing.
Noah's deep blue gaze was steady. Yes, it is. The night of the confrontation with Brian, Noah had been especially wonderful. Beckett, too, whom she'd never been able to thank enough for intervening on Ella's behalf. Tiana had arrived home that evening, clueless as to what had been going on, and walked into a chaotic scene straight out of her nightmares. Brian in cuffs in the back of Noah's cruiser, his nose and mouth bleeding from Beckett's powerful fist. When she'd found out what Brian had done, she'd wanted to rip him apart.
I can't say any of this surprises me, though. Not now.
I showed you this because I wanted you to know you're not the only one. You're not the only person he's fooled. He's done this before and gotten away with it, at least 3 more times that we know of. But because Ella spoke up and he's been charged, 2 of the other girls are willing to testify as well.
A tiny bit of a silver lining in this whole mess.
Yes. He opened up the file, leafed through some papers, and began to read. The forensic psychologist's report says the usual things common to most child predators. He was likely sexually abused as a child himself, and blames external factors to explain and justify his actions in an attempt to diminish his guilt. He'll also go to great lengths to hide his behavior.
Boy, did he ever,
she said bitterly. She'd been completely oblivious to what was happening behind her back. Noah closed the file. They're experts at it. That's why it's so hard to catch them. And they control their victims, making it hard for the people they've hurt to speak out. But not Ella. He sat back in his chair, a slight smile lifting one side of his mouth. You've got a brave little girl there.
I know it.
She pulled in a breath and shook her head.
How do you do this job, Noah? Seeing this kind of thing day after day?
Thankfully around here that kind of thing is rare. But yeah, I've seen my fair share of shit. It's always harder when kids are involved. And I do it because I can make a difference and protect kids like Ella by taking the monsters off the streets and putting them away for as long as possible. If it were up to Tiana, Brian and all the other child predators in the world would rot in prison for the rest of their lives and never see the light of day again. Noah's parting words resonated with her as she drove home to her rental house on the other side of town. If Brian refused the plea bargain that was about to be offered him, and it was sickening enough that he was being offered any kind of deal at all, then Ella might have to take the witness stand and testify in court in front of him. The only reason Tiana had agreed to the terms of the plea bargain was to spare her daughter that additional trauma. Ella had been through more than enough, and Tiana was determined to protect her daughter from any more harm. That plan included steering clear of any more romantic relationships, and men in general, until Ella was all grown up. Maybe longer. Maybe forever. Her cell rang as she drove down Front Street along the water, past all the charming wood-framed shops and businesses and the wide expanse of sandy beach and rolling ocean beyond it. Aunt Lizzie, her mother's younger sister, the closest thing Tiana had ever had to a real mother, and the only family she had any contact with.
I'm just on my way home, so perfect timing,
she told her aunt.
It's a gift,
Lizzie replied in a cheery voice.
So how did it go at the sheriff's office?
Depressing as hell, as expected. She relayed everything Noah had told her.
When will you hear about the plea bargain?
Not sure. Last I heard, the state attorney's office was still finalizing it. Lizzie grunted.
I hope the pedo takes it. It's more than he deserves, especially if he's molested other girls. But I'd hate for Ella to have to go through the stress of a trial to put him away.
Me too.
And what else? I can tell there's something else. Spill.
Aunt Lizzie knew her too well.
It's Evan.
A shocked pause followed her announcement.
As in Ella's deadbeat sperm donor?
The guy who ditched them both before Ella's first birthday and disappeared to chase women and his dream of being a